bet you never thought we'd be having another one of these films again. Hey, what's going on, everyone? You already know who it is. It's your boy, Mikey Savage 21, bringing you another movie review. And today, I'm going to be doing the 2017 film, Resident Evil, The Final Chapter. Now, this is the sixth and final film in the film franchise known as Resident Evil. Again, this is entitled The Final Chapter, and it's supposed to wrap up and encase every single film that we have had since 2002 when the original version came out. And we have returning characters of Milla Jovovich. We have Shawn Roberts coming back to play Wesker. And of course we have Iain Glen coming back to reprise his role as Dr. Alexander Isaac, as well as Ali Larter to reprise her role as Claire Redfield. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this film because I feel like you're either going to enjoy this film because you're a fan of all the rest of them, or you're not going to like this film if you didn't like any of the other Resident Evil films, because essentially it's basically the same thing, except the action has been amped up here and the story has kind of gotten a little bit diluted. Now, again, this is all about the story of Alice, and she has now set out on this quest because she hears about there might be this cure to reverse the effects of what the T-virus has did. And so she sets off on this adventure to go back to Raccoon City and go back to the original hive location and track down and face her old enemies from the past and potentially wipe out this virus, which has pretty much claimed the entire populace in this world. Again, like I just mentioned, this is basically your standard action, jump scare here and there action film. Me personally, I thought it was okay. It wasn't the best of the film franchise, but I will say in terms of action, this has to be the best one by far. Me personally, again, if you are a fan of this franchise, then I do recommend you go check out this film, because if you're like me, you're a completist and you're like, well, I've came this far, I might as well see the one that they're calling The Final Chapter. And speaking on terms of calling this The Final Chapter, what this film essentially tries to do is it tries to tie back the little connective tissues to the very first film from 2002 all the way up until the one we have now. And for the most part, it kind of does that. It gets a little bit muddied here and there. There are certain things that you're just going to have to go with. They're not going to give you much explanation on it. As far as the acting goes, it's, you know, your typical acting for an action franchise. Again, if you have seen the acting pretty much in all of the films, it's pretty much the same here. There's nothing different. There's no standout moments here. Everybody pretty much does what they normally do. One of the complaints that I have is we didn't get a chance to spend enough time with the supporting characters because they get picked off one by one in typical horror movie fashion. Other than that, I thought the film was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't awesome. It wasn't amazing. It was good. I know for me, some of the acting took me out of the film, and then some of the action really made me buy into the film even more. But again, it couldn't be, you know, counteracted with the acting. And again, it was subpar here. I am a fan of Paul W.S. Anderson. I have loved him and loved what he has done with this franchise. Again, say what you want about this franchise. This has got to be one of the most popular video game franchises out there. And to this date, we are still getting films based on this video game franchise. So say what you want about it, whether you like it or not. You still got to say, hey, you must be doing pretty well. For me personally, giving this film a score though, I'm going to give this film I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Again, I thought it was a good film. I thought it was a solid film. I liked it a little bit better than I have the rest of the Resident Evil films. But if you take all of the action out, then you basically have the same substandard film that we have been getting from this franchise. Now, if I'm basing this on the action alone, then I will give this a 7 out of 10 because the action was really great here and it really did make the film stand out. Paul W.S. Anderson did a fantastic job here of doing the choreography and everything that went along with the fight moves, and how Milla Jovovich's performance of Alice, how she went through this process. Again, the storyline got a little bit muddy when they tried to do the connective tissues, but other than that, I thought this was a good film. If you're a fan of this film franchise, then I definitely recommend you check it out. If you're not and you haven't seen any of the other ones, then I say just skip it and wait till it comes out on Blu-ray, or wait till it comes out on Netflix and just binge watch all of them at one time. But guys, what did you think of this review? What did you think of the movie in general? If you have seen it this weekend, please let me know your thoughts on it below. Thank you for tuning in to this movie review. And as always, I hope you all have a blessed evening. Peace out, y'all.